Hey, Vango Chica here. I just wanted to come on and do a little chat. Look at my fancy little screen, because I think from previous videos you know that I have just a 6-foot table bookcase. I have one corner of a room that is my art studio, but I love it. It's everything I want. And I use a lot of rolling devices that can fit under tables, in corners, then I pull them out as I need. But I wanted to come and pop on here and do a video about disabilities and being an artist or a paper crafter. I use the term artist because I think we are paper artists. Plus I am an artist painter. And I don't know, it probably affects the minority, but this might be interesting if anyone follows my page to know like anything about me. I have an autoimmune illness, rheumatoid arthritis. It doesn't sound very bad, arthritis. Most people don't really know much about rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune illness, so it comes with a whole host of issues. Anyway, besides pain in the joints, mine really attacked my joints in my spine. So I have painful hands. They say I need a thumb replacement, an elbow. I've had multiple joint surgeries. It's really destroyed my joints, but worse, it has really attacked my spine, which I didn't know this was happening. I just thought it was my RA. And I remember like 2 years ago, about 2 years ago, I stopped being able to work full time. I just could not, the pain and the inability to do things. I went to part-time. And then subsequently some medical emergencies happened and I was left unable to work at all. And that was a terrible, the last 3 years have been very hard. And I have to say, my housemate / best friend has told me since I started this card making program that he can tell that I'm just in a better mood. I mean, that sounds little, but I have so much pain in my life. I live with chronic pain and I am disabled. I cannot walk. And even then, some of my left hand has neuropathy. I'll go into it. There's like a lot to be unhappy about, but I love creating, and I was so sad when I thought I could not create anymore. And I'll explain why. And now as it's coming back to me, I feel like I can envision a future. So I am making this video for anyone who's interested. If you care about me, you know about me. But also, if there's anybody out there that struggles with any physical challenges in your life, but particularly to being creative, such as arthritis. You don't have to have rheumatoid arthritis. You could have regular arthritis, and it makes it very painful for your fingers to do things, or your joints, or maybe you can't see good even with glasses. I'm still like that. Print is too little. I want to be a voice of you can do it. I'm doing it. We can do it. And with appropriate, accommodations and assisted devices, you can usually work around most things. Rarely I will have to have someone step in and do stuff. Recently, in the classes I'm taking, it involved trying to imitate the look on a card of a letterpress. Letterpress is when you go to a printer for fancy invites and they literally pressed the ink into the card so that when you get have you ever gotten a fancy invitation or card and you're like, oh, this is so pretty, and you feel the texture, you can feel like the indentation of where the ink was laid. It just feels so handmade. Well, we were attempting to make a faux letterpress, and the way we did that was by cutting out with your die cut. Let me see if I can hold it this way. Will it show it? Oh, it does when I hold it backwards, you see. This is a die cut that says hello. And what involved was cutting out 5 of these on the die cut, gluing them together, and then putting vellum and cutting another layer of vellum, putting that on. And then inking the vellum part onto a card, and the pressure from the die thing would actually, because of the thickness, kind of imprint and kind of create a faux letterpress. Because of my hand neuropathies, I found this so difficult. Let me see, this is the right side. This is the printing side. And I had to do multiple attempts. I destroyed many, and you can see they were very, what it was is, because of nerve damage, spinal damage, I am left with neuropathy in my left hand, which means it's not, I have pain, numbness, it's not as dexterous. And to be able to glue 5 of these intricate things on top of each other required both hands to be dexterous, was incredibly hard. Then I thought, I'm gonna cut it out of cardboard. Let's see, I used a cardboard, and it was about the same thickness as 5 of these. That was, okay, that helped. And then if you read my blog post, someone suggested this to me, a dear friend, using needles, and I'll let you read the blog post of how I pinned it, and I was able with that was my assisted device. With needles, I was able to put those. I didn't know if I'd do something like that on my own. For the class I did, but it was quite a lot of work, but I found a way around it. And this is my message of hope for anyone that has some disabilities, any kind of disability. Be creative, ask around, have people who love you offer advice. Like someone who cares about me said, you know, if we put needles in a thing, a styrofoam, and then lowered I was like, well, worked. So that's just one example. But I'll tell you my little story in case you're interested. I'll try to abbreviate it. Oh gosh, what is it? I came to the point where I was totally not able to work, and increasingly the pain in my back was affecting my ability to walk. I started using a cane all the time. Then I had to reluctantly, against my will, start using a walker because I was falling. And then I started just with the pain, but getting so much numbness and neuropathy. Oh, neuropathy is so painful. I could just tell you, it feels like a burning sword is how I describe it. Or like if you submerge your hand in a bucket of ice, you know, it's cold. If you leave it there, almost that cold becomes a hot and burns. That's how it is, but never relenting. I would be like, oh God, my finger. That was going on, and I went to, there's a whole on my other blog. I have another blog called Mango Chica, where this blog is for my art. That one I told the whole story. I was misdiagnosed so many times. They said I had carpal tunnel. I went through carpal tunnel surgery. Didn't help. It wasn't carpal tunnel. Anyway, one thing led to another. I start getting numbness. I start losing the ability. I start falling, blah, blah, blah. Many people misdiagnosed me, and ultimately it became an emergency where I almost was paralyzed from the neck down. It was quite very serious. I was in the hospital for a while, and the neurosurgeon team kept saying, you don't mind if we bring students to study this, because this is a perfect example of myelopathy not being caught in time and what happened. And I'm like, sure, they can learn. I was like, so what I had was myelopathy. Myelopathy is when you have spinal compression. Think of your vertebrae. The vertebrae, for different reasons, my vertebrae were growing crazy bone, and it was pressing my spine to the point that you compress your spine only so much, and then you get myelopathy, which means that it has penetrated the outermost, this is what I think I understand, the outermost layer of your spinal cord. And mine had gotten so severe that it actually had pierced my spinal cord. So that is why I'm left with some permanent damage and neurological damage. But and I still have myelopathy throughout my spine. So I had to have 2 spinal surgeries within the course of 5 months, and they were both super serious. And anyway, suffice it to say, at the time of surgery, I could not even feed myself. I could not control, I could not hold utensils. My hands were that useless. I had to have these big, kind of like shovel. I couldn't do anything. I was so depressed. You know, I'm an artist, I'm a painter. I will do a video where I start showing some of my paintings. And I think I have a video after the surgery I was better, but still I could not paint like even a circle or a line. I'm so much better now. And to the point that I'm in this card class, I just got to say it brings a tear to my eye because I see a future of what I can do. I don't know if you like this video or not, but I know that there's an audience just from writing my other blog, people telling me, oh my God, me too, oh yeah, you know. And so, hey, so all that to suffice it to say, if you have any disability, it could be visual, it could be, like I will give you tips if you write me. With great difficulty, I get up. So everything I try to have, I wish I could move this camera. I hope that you can tell this video is better because this is my new light system I have. I think it looks better. The microphone, I didn't know I would be using the fancy microphone. I have to get an adapter for my iPhone because it's the old plug-in. Okay, so maybe the mic will be better next time I get my mic adapter. But I'm learning. But I wanted to offer some hope, talk a little bit about myself. So what I have is the root illness is rheumatoid arthritis. That is ultimately, people don't know, like arthritis, yeah, it can disable you completely because it attacks organs. It doesn't just attack bones, but for me, it attacked my spine, which left me unable to walk. Yeah, I'm hoping to get that back, but it doesn't look likely at this point. But I remember being in the hospital and I looked at the neurosurgeon and they were like, wow, after full MRIs from my neck down, 360, it took forever. They could give myelopathy throughout your spine. We can only focus on the most urgent now, which is your cervical. I have titanium vertebrae in my neck, plus fusions. It was so bad that they said they couldn't believe I wasn't paralyzed. They said, you know, if someone had just cracked you chiropractically or you had just kind of even stretched, you would have been paralyzed. So I know I have a guardian angel. I believe in angels. Someday we'll talk about it. I have a guardian angel that kept me safe until I got to the right doctors. So it is possible to come back from that. And I feel so hopeful and excited. I love my little channel. I hope people get enjoyment from it, but I just thought I'd tell you the story behind the scenes. One thing I have difficulty still is, beside not being able to walk, I live with chronic pain. So I'm hoping that I can, for just a vocation, because I'm a young 63, I don't want to not do anything, you know, like I can't work, like go out, but I would love to be an online presence. That's why I'm putting all this energy in this card class. I'm already an artist. I want to offer online classes because that is something I can do because I can control my environment. If you have disabilities, the key to life is accommodations. How can you, accommodations and assisted devices. There's always, well, there tends to be assisted devices for most things. Assisted devices like a walker, a wheelchair, adaptive silverware when I couldn't hold regular silverware. For me, when I loved crafty things and I wasn't able to do my art, like even now I have to paint sitting down. I used to do large canvases. I can no longer stand for periods of time, so I must sit, and I can only sit for short periods. So I take a lot of breaks. You don't know to film this. I'm like, oh. But I started doing diamond painting. My sister, I don't know if you know what diamond painting is. All these little crystals you put. This is a coaster. I love cats. I have a cat. That became part of my therapy for my hands. And I would report to, I have a very good physical therapy team that I've been seeing for over 2 years. And they were like, good, if you do more of that, that only helps you. And I became a great diamond painter. And I wanted to get back to doing art. So, you know, there are ways to get around things. One thing I, as a card maker, have difficulty, but I'm not saying I can't do it. I will figure a way out. And if it's just hard, sometimes it is. I know for me, this little thing of creating 5 and laying, I probably would, on my own, am not going to do that. It was just very, very difficult. I am left with some neuropathy in this hand, and having one hand that's not 100%, I can do most everything, but that was very difficult. But I figured it out. You just stick with it. Don't let yourself think you can't do something. I have got a tremendous headstrong. I'm an Aries. I am stubborn. Like we're the goat with the horns. My physical therapist will tell you I don't accept defeat. I will find a way. One thing I find difficulty is the die cutting machine. It's very painful to me, but I use it. I love it, and I will still use it. Just for this thumb needs to be replaced. This elbow is really problematic. It's just very painful. So I just work around it. I take pain pills before I sit down for a couple hours. I mean, there's just ways to work around it. More and more my hands have gotten better, so there's pretty much I can do things that require a lot of manual can be a little bit tricky for me, but there is a way to get around. I mean, I just want to offer you a thing of hope, because I was told I was going to be paralyzed from the neck down, and now I'm making cards, which who would have thought I could handle the little things, and I'm painting. So just wanted to give you a hey, tell you about what happened. Where am I now? I live with chronic pain that is difficult, and I use a walker and a wheelchair. I can't stand for more than a couple minutes. I don't know, I hope it gets better. It does look like my spine is not doing great. I'm going to stay hopeful. But I love this class because it gives me hope. It gives me hope that I can still do something. You know, when you're disabled, you just need to find a way to work in which it will suit you. And I can work around my disabilities if I'm at home, because you don't see it, but I might take a lot of breaks. You don't see it, that I might have everything. It has to be within hand reach. It doesn't matter. You can do it. So this is for all the girlies or men, girlies and men. I haven't really met many, but I did meet 2 men, card crafts people, card makers. Anyone, and you don't have to be disabled. You can just have arthritis. There are ways around it. My heart goes out to you. I love you all, and I'm glad you're listening. Thanks for listening.